There comes a point in your journey when you must pause and ask yourself, who is really walking with me? Because the truth is, not everyone around you is meant to go where you're going. Some people in your life are not truly friends. They are shadows pretending to be light. A real friend celebrates your growth, your change, your expansion. But a fake friend, they feel threatened by it. They may laugh when you share your dreams or give you that half-hearted smile when you succeed. Deep down, their energy doesn't match their words. You feel it, your body knows, your heart knows. Have you ever left a conversation feeling drained, as if your energy was stolen rather than restored? That is the first sign. True connection lifts you higher. Fake connection pulls you down, little by little. You'll also notice their support is conditional. When life is good, when you're shining, they stand close. But when you stumble, when you need a hand, they vanish. That absence teaches you more about friendship than their presence ever did. Pay attention to competition disguised as concern. They may frame it as advice, but inside, they want you to doubt yourself. They clap when you win. But listen carefully, it's not joy, it's comparison. They don't want to lose their place beside you, so they try to hold you where they are. And here's the hidden truth. People like this will fight hardest when you start to change. When you begin breaking old patterns, when you say, I will no longer live small, they try to pull you back. Why? Because your transformation challenges the comfort of their own limitations. So what must you do? You must honor your own energy. You must learn to release without guilt, to detach without anger, to walk forward without waiting for those who are not ready. Remember, losing fake friends is never a loss. It is simply clearing space for truth, for alignment, for people who will love the real you. Do not fear the silence that comes when you release them. In that silence, you discover your power. In that silence, new people arrive, those who celebrate not what you give them, but who you become. And the moment you recognize these hidden signs, you step into freedom. You no longer live chained by false connections. You rise lighter, clearer, and surrounded by people who match your vibration. So ask yourself today, who is in my circle and who is in my corner? Because your circle may be wide, but your corner, the ones who truly stand with you, is what defines your destiny. When you think about the people in your life, you must begin to notice not just what they say, but how you feel after being with them. Because energy never lies. You can tell the truth of a relationship not by the words spoken, but by the way your spirit feels once the conversation ends. There are people who leave you feeling inspired, alive, lighter, and hopeful. And then there are others who leave you tired, uncertain, and questioning yourself. That feeling, that heaviness, is one of the clearest signs of a fake friend. They may not say outright, I don't want the best for you, but their energy reveals it every time you interact. Think of it like this. Every relationship is an exchange of energy. Real friends add to your spirit, fake friends withdraw from it. The difference is subtle but powerful. You know you are in the presence of authenticity when you walk away with more clarity, more confidence, more peace. But when you find yourself emotionally drained, as though you've just carried a weight that doesn't belong to you, that is your inner intelligence whispering that something is not right. Energy drain happens because fake friends are not aligned with your growth. They may be envious even if they hide it. They may feel insecure around you even if they smile. And that unspoken insecurity leaks into the interaction. You sense it. You might hear it in the way they disguise criticism as advice, or notice it in the way they shift the attention back to themselves whenever you share something meaningful. At first, it seems small, a little sarcasm, a little dismissal, a little indifference. But over time, those moments add up, and you begin to feel like your light is dimming in their presence. Why is this so dangerous? Because the energy around you shapes the energy within you. When you spend consistent time with someone who drains you, your mind begins to normalize that heaviness. You stop noticing how much of yourself you're giving away. You start questioning your own worth because of the subtle messages they plant in you. And before long, you begin to shrink, not realizing that this is not who you truly are. It's simply the effect of being in the wrong energetic environment. This is why awareness is the first step. You must learn to check in with yourself after each interaction. Ask, do I feel lighter or heavier right now? Do I feel encouraged or diminished? Do I feel safe to express myself, or do I feel judged? These questions cut through the illusion, because fake friends often wear a mask of kindness. They can say all the right things, but if their energy leaves you weaker, that mask is meaningless. The truth is, a real friend doesn't just listen to you, they uplift you. Even in silence, their presence feels nourishing. They don't need to compete with you, they don't need to take from you, because they are secure in who they are. A fake friend, however, survives by draining. They are like a shadow that follows your light, but can never create its own. And if you don't become conscious of this, you will continue to give them permission to feed off your energy. Releasing fake friends doesn't mean you hate them or wish them harm. It simply means you love yourself enough to protect your energy. It means you understand that your growth requires environments that expand you, not environments that shrink you. It means you are choosing to align with people who contribute to your well-being instead of those who subtract from it. And here's the powerful shift. The moment you stop entertaining draining energy, your entire reality changes. You begin to attract people who mirror your authentic vibration. You feel lighter, stronger, more creative, because you are no longer leaking energy into relationships that were never real. You step into freedom. So the next time you sense that heaviness after an interaction, don't ignore it. Don't explain it away. Listen to it. Your body and spirit are speaking the truth. Fake friends cannot hide their energy forever. And once you learn to recognize that drain, you gain the power to step out of illusion and into alignment with those who truly deserve your light. One of the most revealing signs of a fake friend is how they show up in your life during different seasons. When everything is going well, when you're winning, when you're shining, they are right there beside you, smiling, laughing, and enjoying the ride. But the moment life becomes difficult, when the lights dim and the crowd is gone, they vanish. Their support is inconsistent. They are present for the celebration but absent for the struggle. And that inconsistency tells you more about the truth of their friendship than their words ever could. It is easy for anyone to stand with you when times are good. Success attracts people, and often not because they care, but because they want to share the benefits of your light. The true test of friendship is not how someone behaves when you're at your highest, but how they behave when you are at your lowest. Do they offer their hand when you stumble? Do they check in when you're silent? Do they remind you of your strength when you've forgotten it yourself? Fake friends rarely do. Instead, they distance themselves, making excuses, staying silent, or even pretending not to notice your pain. This inconsistent support creates confusion in your mind and heart. You begin to question whether you did something wrong, whether you expected too much, whether you're asking for more than what friendship can provide. But deep down, you know the truth. Authentic connection doesn't abandon you when life gets messy. Real friends may not always have the perfect words, but their presence itself becomes a comfort. Fake friends, however, disappear until you've regained your strength. Then they reappear, ready to enjoy your glow again. The danger of such inconsistency is that it teaches you to doubt human connection altogether. When someone is only there for your good days, you begin to guard yourself during the bad ones. You stop reaching out. You stop sharing. You stop allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And slowly, you isolate your heart, not because you wanna, but because you're tired of experiencing that emptiness when someone you trusted doesn't show up. This is why it's so important to recognize inconsistent support as a warning sign. It's not that you're unworthy of support. It's that you've placed your trust in someone who doesn't know how to give it. There is another layer to this inconsistency. Sometimes, fake friends will offer just enough support to keep you close, but not enough to truly help you. They will send a short message when you're down, but never follow up. They will say, "I'm here for you," but never show up when you actually need them. This pattern keeps you emotionally tied to them because you keep hoping that next time they'll be different. But patterns reveal truth. If someone repeatedly disappears when you need them most, it is not by accident. It is who they are. Real friends walk with you in the dark. They don't need recognition. They don't need anything in return because their loyalty is not conditional. It's not based on convenience. It's based on care. Fake friends, on the other hand, treat your struggle as an inconvenience. It doesn't benefit them. It doesn't entertain them, so they withdraw. But when you rise again, when your life becomes bright once more, suddenly they reappear as if they've been there all along. Pay attention to that cycle because it is one of the clearest signals of who belongs in your life and who doesn't. The truth is, inconsistent support is not support at all. Support that only shows up sometimes, depending on circumstances, is just another form of self-interest. It's easy to clap when someone is on stage under the spotlight, but the people who stand beside you when the curtain falls, those are the ones who matter. When you start recognizing this pattern, you gain clarity. Stop giving your energy to people who only walk with you on sunny days. You stop confusing presence during your victories as evidence of loyalty. Instead, you begin to value the quiet ones who stood with you in the storm, the ones who never left when the world felt heavy, the ones whose consistency revealed their true love for you. So do not mourn when inconsistent people fall away from your life. Do not chase them, do not beg them to stay, because their inconsistency has already shown you their truth. Instead, be grateful that you've seen their reality clearly. That awareness frees you from the illusion. And in that freedom, you open space for genuine souls who will celebrate with you in joy and stand firm with you in hardship. The message is simple: stop measuring friendships by how people treat you when you succeed. Measure them by how they respond when you struggle. Because your success may attract many, but your struggles will reveal the few. And those few, those consistent ones, are worth more than 1,000 false connections. One of the hidden signs of a fake friend is not in what they openly say, but in what they quietly reveal through their energy, subtle competition. Unlike obvious rivals, these people don't confront you directly. They don't declare themselves as your competition, but deep down they feel threatened by your progress. Instead of being inspired by your growth, they secretly compare themselves to you. And the evidence shows in the smallest, quietest ways: the hesitation in their applause, the backhanded compliments, the way their smiles don't quite reach their eyes when you succeed. True friends celebrate you without hesitation. They see your success as an expansion of what is possible, not as a threat to their worth. But fake friends cannot celebrate fully because your growth reminds them of what they haven't achieved. So they mask their insecurity with subtle jabs. They might joke about your dreams, making them sound unrealistic. They might minimize your achievements, saying things like, "It's not a big deal," or "Anyone could have done that." They may even offer you advice that sounds supportive, but is designed to make you second-guess yourself. This is how subtle competition disguises itself as friendship on the surface, but resistance underneath. The danger of this kind of relationship is that it slowly conditions you to hold yourself back. You begin to hide your wins so you don't make them uncomfortable. You downplay your goals because you sense their disapproval. You even start questioning whether you're moving too fast, too far, too soon. But the truth is, their discomfort has nothing to do with you. It is a reflection of their own unhealed insecurities. Yet if you are not conscious of it, you will shrink your light just to make them feel safe in their shadow. Notice the small moments. You share an idea you're excited about, and they respond with a sarcastic laugh. You announce a breakthrough, and they immediately counter with one of their own, turning the conversation back to themselves. You take a step forward, and instead of clapping, they ask, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" At first, it doesn't seem harmful. It feels like concern, maybe even honesty. But over time, these subtle competitions become chains. They keep you doubting instead of believing, hesitating instead of acting, dimming instead of shining. Real friends don't compete, they collaborate. They want you to win because your win feels like their win too. There is no fear, no comparison, no silent rivalry, only joy in your joy. Fake friends, on the other hand, operate from scarcity. They believe that your success takes something away from them, so they fight quietly to keep you in a place where they feel safe. That is why subtle competition is so dangerous. It doesn't show up as loud betrayal, but as a quiet resistance that keeps you questioning your own greatness. The truth is, you were not meant to play small to soothe someone else's insecurity. Every time you choose to dim your light to protect their comfort, you betray yourself. And no relationship is worth the cost of your authenticity. When you notice subtle competition, you must ask yourself, do I want to keep walking with someone who secretly hopes I don't rise higher than them? Or do I want to align with people who push me further, who clap the loudest, who dream with me rather than against me? The most powerful friendships are not the ones where both people stay the same, but the ones where both people push each other into greater versions of themselves. If someone cannot handle your growth, that is not your burden. It is their limitation, and you are not responsible for carrying it. You are responsible only for continuing to expand, to evolve, to shine. So the next time you feel that subtle competition, don't ignore it. Don't dismiss it as just a joke or just their way. Pay attention, because those little cracks in support reveal the truth. They don't want you to outgrow them. And if you allow that energy into your life, you will unconsciously begin to hold yourself back. Freeing yourself from this dynamic is not an act of anger. It's an act of self-love. It's choosing to surround yourself with people who rise with you, not against you. It's choosing friends who celebrate, not compete. And when you finally align with such people, you will realize how heavy, subtle competition truly was, because the joy of real support feels like wings compared to the chains of false friendship. Your destiny requires you to stand in your full light. And anyone who secretly competes with you, instead of celebrating you, has already shown you they are not meant to walk that journey. Release them and rise without apology. One of the clearest truths about fake friends is that their loyalty is never unconditional. It is built on what they can gain, not on who you truly are. Their loyalty is a transaction. It lasts only as long as you continue to provide them with something they need. Maybe it's your attention, maybe it's your resources, maybe it's the comfort of not feeling alone. But the moment you stop giving, the moment you no longer serve their personal interest, their loyalty begins to fade. And that fading reveals everything. True loyalty is not tested when things are easy. True loyalty shows up when there is nothing to gain. A real friend stands with you simply because of who you are, not because of what you can offer. But fake friends attach strings to their presence. They measure what they receive, and if the scales don't balance in their favor, they begin to withdraw. They may not say it openly, but their actions whisper it clearly. One day, they are by your side, calling you family. The next day, when you cannot provide them the same benefits, they are distant, cold, or even absent. This is why conditional loyalty is so dangerous. It creates an illusion of closeness that feels real in the moment but collapses under pressure. When life is good, when you are giving, when you are available, they are around. But when you set boundaries, when you say no, when you ask for support instead of providing it, the mask falls. They suddenly become too busy, too distracted, too unavailable. And in that moment, you see the truth, that their loyalty was never to you, but to what you could give them. What makes this so painful is the betrayal of expectation. You believed in their words, in their promises, in the bond you thought you shared. But loyalty cannot be spoken, it must be lived. And when actions reveal that it was conditional all along, you begin to question your own judgment. You wonder how you missed the signs. But here is the truth. Fake friends are skilled at hiding behind appearances. They know how to say the right things, how to mirror what you want to hear. But real loyalty cannot be faked forever. Time and testing always expose the difference. Conditional loyalty also keeps you trapped in cycles of overgiving, because you sense, even unconsciously, that their presence depends on your contribution. You begin to stretch yourself just to keep them close. You sacrifice your time, your energy, your boundaries, hoping that if you give enough, they will stay. But the irony is that no amount of giving can turn conditional loyalty into unconditional love. The moment you stop feeding the transaction, the relationship will reveal its fragility. This is why it is so important to pay attention to the patterns. Ask yourself, do they show up for me when I have nothing to offer? Do they stand by me in silence as much as they do in celebration? Do they value me for who I am or only for what I provide? If the answer exposes inconsistency, then you are not dealing with loyalty. You are dealing with dependence disguised as friendship. A real friend doesn't need you to be perfect, successful, or endlessly available. They choose you as you are, even when you are tired, even when you are struggling, even when you cannot give them anything in return. Their loyalty is rooted not in conditions, but in connection. And that type of loyalty is rare but powerful. It's the kind of loyalty that helps you grow because you know you are safe to be your authentic self without fear of abandonment. So when conditional loyalty reveals itself, don't resist it. Don't try to fight for someone to stay who has already shown you that their presence depends on what you can give. Instead, let them go with gratitude. Gratitude that you saw the truth. Gratitude that you were given clarity. Gratitude that you now know who truly belongs in your circle. Because the space they leave behind will be filled with those who love you without conditions, Those who will stand firm even when you have nothing to offer but your presence. Remember, this loyalty that comes with terms and conditions is not loyalty at all. It is convenience. And your life, your destiny, your growth deserve more than convenience. You deserve people who choose you, not because of what you provide, but because of who you are becoming. The moment you release conditional loyalty, you make space for real, lasting, unconditional connection. And that shift will change not just your relationships, but the way you see yourself. Because when you are surrounded by people who stay without needing anything in return, you finally understand that you are enough exactly as you are. One of the most deceptive signs of a fake friend is the way they hide their negativity. It rarely comes as open criticism or direct hostility. Instead, it disguises itself wrapped in humor, framed as honesty, or delivered as just my opinion. At first, it seems harmless. They make a sarcastic joke about your dream, and everyone laughs, including you. They say something that stings, but they follow it with, "Don't take it so seriously, I'm just kidding." They frame discouragement as, "I'm only being real with you," as though crushing your hope is a form of kindness. And slowly, without you realizing it, that disguised negativity seeps into your mind, planting seeds of doubt. True friends build you, they don't break you. Even when they are honest, their honesty is aimed at growth, not at belittling. But fake friends weaponize their words in subtle ways. They criticize under the mask of humor. They undermine under the cover of advice. They speak doubt into your vision, not because they want to protect you, but because they want to keep you small. This is how disguised negativity works. It's never obvious enough for you to call it out, but it's persistent enough to weaken your belief in yourself. The real danger of this negativity is that it disguises itself as truth. Because it comes from someone you trust, you start to believe their words carry weight. When they laugh at your dream, you begin to think maybe it really is unrealistic. When they say people like us don't get opportunities like that, you start to believe your path is limited. Their words become internalized as your own thoughts, and soon their disguised negativity has become your self-sabotage. That is how powerful words are, especially when they come from people close to us. But here is what you must remember. Real love does not disguise itself as harm. Real support does not come with mockery. Real encouragement may challenge you, but it never leaves you feeling smaller. If someone consistently leaves you doubting yourself after conversations, that is not love. It is disguised negativity. It may be hidden in laughter. It may be framed as concern, but your energy always knows the truth. You leave feeling drained, discouraged, or doubtful. And that feeling is your inner compass trying to warn you. Fake friends often use this tactic because it allows them to avoid accountability. When you confront them, they can say, "I was only joking," or "You're too sensitive," turning the blame back on you. This is a powerful manipulation because it makes you second guess your own feelings. Instead of recognizing their negativity, you start to wonder if you're the problem. Over time, this cycle can erode your confidence, making you easier to control, easier to keep in a limited place. You must become aware of this pattern. Pay attention to the subtle words, the disguised tones, the way people frame their so-called advice. Ask yourself, does this comment come from love or from limitation? Does it inspire me to grow or make me afraid to try? The moment you see through the disguise, you reclaim your power, because awareness dissolves the manipulation. When you recognize disguised negativity for what it is, it can no longer control you. And here's the truth: people who disguise their negativity are often projecting their own fears. They couldn't chase their dreams, so they laugh at yours. They doubted themselves, so they want you to doubt yourself too. Their negativity has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own unhealed wounds. Once you understand that, you stop taking their words personally. Instead of absorbing their fear, you can let it pass right through you, untouched. But sometimes the most powerful act of self-love is distance. If someone continually plants disguised negativity in your life, you must ask whether their presence is worth the cost. You cannot afford to keep shrinking in an environment that refuses to see your greatness. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is essential. Because your vision, your dreams, your future are too important to be poisoned by words disguised as care. The moment you release disguised negativity, your spirit feels lighter. You begin to trust your own inner voice again. You start speaking your dreams with confidence instead of hesitation. and you discover what real encouragement feels like, the kind that builds you up, that challenges you with love, that believes in your possibility even when you don't. Remember, this disguised negativity may sound like a joke, but it is never funny to the soul. You deserve friends who speak life, not doubt. You deserve people who lift your spirit, not those who weaken it with subtle poisons. And the moment you decide to surround yourself only with voices that align with your growth, your future begins to expand without limits. One of the most powerful signs that someone is not truly your friend is how they respond to your growth. Real friends celebrate when you change for the better, when you step into new levels of yourself, when you begin to transform your life. But fake friends resist it. They want you to stay the same, not because it's good for you, but because it's comfortable for them. Your growth disrupts their illusion of stability. It forces them to look at their own stagnation, and instead of rising with you, they try to keep you where you are. This is what it means when someone blocks your growth. Think about it. You decide to break an old habit, to shift into a healthier lifestyle, to focus on building your dreams. At first, they might laugh and say, "That won't last long." Or they might remind you of the old version of yourself, saying things like, "Come on, you've always been this way," as if your past defines your future. When you talk about your new vision, they tell you it's unrealistic or unnecessary. They might not openly stop you, but their energy becomes resistance. And that resistance, if you are not conscious, can slow you down more than you realize. Growth is uncomfortable because it requires change. It requires you to leave behind old patterns, old habits, and often old environments. And when you begin to change, those who are unwilling to change themselves will feel threatened. They see you stepping out of the old circle, and instead of cheering for you, they try to pull you back into it. Not because they hate you, but because your progress highlights their unwillingness to move. You become a mirror they don't want to face. Fake friends who block your growth may disguise their resistance as care. They'll say things like, "I just don't want you to get hurt," or "I'm trying to keep you grounded." But in truth, what they are doing is planting doubt in your mind so you hesitate. They want you to remain predictable, familiar, and safe to them. They don't want to lose the version of you they're used to. But here's the reality: if your friendship can't evolve with your growth, it was never real to begin with. Because true friends don't hold you hostage to your past, they support the person you are becoming. The danger of being around people who block your growth is that they keep you repeating cycles. You decide to take a step forward, but their words pull you 2 steps back. You feel the fire of transformation, but their energy throws water on it. And over time, you begin to question if change is even worth it. You settle for staying the same, not because you lack potential, but because you allowed someone else's fear to become your limitation. But life is too short to stay in circles that don't evolve. Your purpose requires expansion. Your spirit demands transformation. And anyone who tries to keep you small is not protecting you. They are protecting their own comfort at your expense. You were not born to live inside someone else's limitations. You were born to rise, to stretch, to step into new versions of yourself over and over again. So when you notice people blocking your growth, you must make a choice. Do you remain small to keep them comfortable, or do you honor your destiny, even if it means outgrowing certain relationships? The answer will define the course of your life. Growth requires courage, and sometimes that courage looks like walking away from those who refuse to walk with you. And here's the truth: when you finally allow yourself to grow freely, you will attract people who are also growing, people who see your transformation not as a threat, but as an inspiration. The right people will not block your growth. They will fuel it. They will challenge you, encourage you, and push you beyond what you thought was possible. That is the environment where your true self thrives. Remember this: those who try to hold you back are not holding you because they love you. They are holding you because they fear being left behind. And that is not your responsibility to fix. Your responsibility is to honor your evolution, to keep moving forward, to continue breaking old patterns, and to never apologize for becoming more. So do not fear the loss of people who resist your growth. They are not your loss, they are your release. Every time you let go of those who block your progress, you step closer to your true path. And on that path, you will discover freedom, fulfillment, and friendships that celebrate every new version of you. because real connection does not fear your growth. It thrives on it. And that is where your future is waiting.